Welcome back, everybody, to Stardew Valley here on Fantasy Farm. In the last episode, we did a little bit of decorating at the end, so now we've got sort of a Christmas theme and a pirate theme here. And I'm sure at some point I will get the kitchen in this little area over here done as well, which means I'll be fully done with house decorating. But let's talk about some other stuff as we head over to our next key challenge. In the last episode, we got a little bit more work done towards 100%, and now we basically have two things left. One is the golden clock that will get us a big chunk of this. It'll be 10 of the remaining 11%, this golden clock that is worth 10 million gold. So we're about 20% of the way there. A little bit less, but pretty close to 20%. Number two, this crafting recipe right here that we are waiting for Gus to appear on the island so that we can buy it from him. And that, for perfection, is pretty much it. Let's see, We've done Key's Kindness for sure. Maybe not Skull Cavern Invasion. So I'm going to go with Skull Cavern Invasion as a result. Skull Cavern has been invaded by powerful monsters. Make it to level 100 in one piece. Alrighty, we'll see what we can do. Because I don't think we've done that. That's for the Skull Cavern sort of hard mode, not the regular dungeon hard mode, which we've done a couple times. We did it again last episode as well, I do believe. And other than that, for the key quest, it's going to be a fair bit of money making. I don't really foresee anything too terribly big happening other than the key quest that we've just been given. A lot of it otherwise is just going to be working on more of the projects that we've got to continue to build up that money. We've also got the green rain today, which does mean that I kind of want to focus on that and picking up the resources that are given by having the green rain. So let's take that and the axe. We've got our triple shot here. I think we'll also take a spicy eel as well, and we'll try to speed up this process as much as we can. And we'll just do some supplies gathering, even though we don't really need to. Also, as a side effect of aging the Legend 2 row, 7,000 per vial, or whatever you'd like to call it, jar, glass, whatever. So yes, these will absolutely be put into sort of rotation, as it were, in order to get more profits and income going that way. Our jellies are also ready. I probably won't put new ones in unless I finish gathering up all the moss and stuff. I don't really think we'll need it anymore, per se, but it would not hurt to go ahead and get it taken care of just on the off chance we do need it for something. Again, I don't really think so. Really, the Statue of Blessings is the big thing that moss is used for, but it could have some other potent uses as well if I look around at my crafting recipes. I could switch up things in the future, like making heavy tappers instead of normal ones to speed up that process. It just kind of depends ultimately on how much of a hassle it is and if I think it's worth the time to do. In terms of if it's worth the supplies to do, pretty much as long as I have the supplies, the answer is yes. Because, like, I mean, we don't need the supplies for anything other than what we want to make, so on that front, we're pretty much good to go. So we'll kind of see how it goes from there. I do want to try, if I have the time, to actually talk to the townsfolk a little bit here, especially to Kent and to Leo, and see what they think of the green rain, as we've not... Well, with Kent we have. With Kent we've had... I don't know if we've had his reaction to the green rain, but he has seen it before. Leo, however, has not, so it'll be interesting to see sort of what they think about it all. But for now, we're going to continue harvesting all this up and seeing how things go. As we do the harvest here, since this is the first day and I do want to just not immediately go straight to post-commentary, hopefully you guys have been enjoying the project so far. We are kind of nearing the end of it, and I am debating on how I kind of want to do... I don't want to say the finale, but we're getting kind of close to the final episodes, as once we get to the point where it's just money-making, I mean, if I wanted to, I could literally just do the routine, the jellies, whatever, and then just immediately go to sleep. Like, just do the farming and don't bother with anything else, because farming is going to be your fastest moneymaker. But I still do kind of want to play, just in the off chance something crazy happens. I do still want to show off the key quests, because many of them I have not done myself. Like the Junimo Kart one, for example, I've never done. So I do kind of want to still do those. But once summer has concluded, not in this video, but the next one, I might kind of change format again. I don't know. It'll depend. I might start going season by season, which would be a lot, but at the same time, in terms of recording, I can basically only do at max 2 weeks at any given time before I've got to go and put everything into editing software so that the file sizes aren't gigantic. So I don't really know yet, just kind of something to think about. On y'all's end, that won't change anything because at this point we are, at least when this episode is being recorded, you guys just got episode 59, which was the basically the end of the year. It was the end of winter for year 1, I think. And yeah, seeing as we are in summer of year 3, needless to say, I've been making sure to get a very good jump on being ahead of things this time around. And I do think as a whole that's a good thing. It does mean that, like, if you start seeing, and you might have already at this point, if you start seeing updates to, like, Mario Superstar Baseball, that means that this project is probably already done. And as a result, I've moved on to working on that again. So, if you're seeing that, then congratulations, I've already finished up Stardew. Because I kind of don't want both projects to be going at the same time. I'll come back and get those. But yeah, I've enjoyed the project quite a bit. I actually think it's a good thing that I switched it up to doing weekly, especially seeing with, like, the post-commentary of, yeah, there's not a lot really going on today, of having to have you sit through, like, a full day of fishing where really not that much is going on outside of, like, a small window of time of, oh, hey, we're catching the legend, but outside of that, there's basically nothing going on. So I did not realize that the Iridium Scythe was powerful enough to take those regular slimes out. Yeah, I might head into town now, actually, and see if I can get a hold of Leo and see how he's handling this, for him, unprecedented weather. Oh, there's a piece of thing in the way. I was wondering why I couldn't move there. I think I will at this point. Yeah, let's go and see if we can find Leo and see how he's handling all of this. I wager he's probably going to be either with Linus or in his house. But Linus might have also managed to convince him, like, hey, this is not a bad thing. It's actually quite good for the valley, so it's safe to navigate through. We'll see what he says. I'm admittedly a bit curious. So we'll just take the back roads and clean this up as we go. The back roads won't take that long to clean up. Go. Yeah, they're hanging out outside. They're under a tree, but yeah, they are taking a look at it all. Hey, Leo, what's up? I like this weather. It's so humid, it reminds me of the forest back home. Oh, nice. I've already gathered enough moss for the entire year. How about you? I mean, yeah, basically we have. I'm not going to bother trying to clean up the train forest here, as I'm sure it's very much going to be an absolute mess of... well, mostly the moss on the trees from the looks of it, but while I could try to clear this out, I ultimately don't think I'm going to. I'll just go through these 2 rows and just kind of keep swinging here. Since I can see a little bit right here. We'll clean that up, but otherwise, not too terribly worried about it. I'm glad that it has, like, fully matured into something, though, and as a result, that does mean that if I am running low on wood for making kegs or anything like that, that we're basically set there of me being able to chop that all down and replant it. We'll be more than good to go on wood for a good amount of time there. In terms of other things to show, though, besides getting the final recipe, the golden clock, and the key quests, there are going to be some other small Easter eggs I want to show. Tragically, I did miss one in spring that I wanted to show off, which would have been like on the 17th, which you could probably guess what that was now. But I do probably want to show off those Easter eggs at some point. I just need to compile them all into a single document and being like, okay, here's exactly what we can fully show off. There will be some that I don't, though. For example, a rare item that you can potentially get from the... Oh, why am I blanking on this? A rare item that you can potentially get from most, but not all villagers during Feast of the Winter Star is a tea set. And you can actually get that from the Traveling Merchant, but it has to be, I kid you not, either year 25 or beyond for it to show up. And I'm not going to play through the game for 25 years. This project's been going on for a while, probably too long for some people's taste, and we're only on year 3. So yeah, forget going up to 25 years. It's a cool item, I guess. I probably would display it somewhere if I got it. But it's not play through the game 25 years kind of cool. If I were to do that, I would absolutely be just sleeping through day after day after day till I hit 25 years. There's just... yeah, that would not be fun to watch by any stretch. Alright, now we can head into town. Triple shot was almost done anyway. I thought that was the... would have run out, not the spicy eel, but oh well. I'm not really so much going for the trees, because I think these trees will stay after the green rain. They only disappear once you've chopped them down. But that said, we could stand to keep the valley looking a little bit clean. It's more of natural debris rather than anything else, but still. But yeah, we'll take a look inside the saloon, see who's hanging out there, if they've got any interesting dialogue or the like. Let's do a little poke inside here, see who's hanging around. Need a little warm-up to be ready for another cold night on the ocean. First time this happened, we were worried the rain might be dangerous, but what if it's actually healthy for the body? Yeah, so you guys are all basically the same. I don't know, it's one of those weird instances where I actually think it's, the dialogue in year 1 is more unique. I don't really think I'm going to be able to, or going to choose to do either of these, but that's probably going to be the more likely of the two if we are doing the key quest, so that's what I'm going to go with. In terms of the key quest, I would probably try to aim for a higher luck day. Either very happy or at the very least, like, moderately happy would be the ideal. And since we do have the green rain going today, there is kind of something else to occupy our time. Now, I do think there's probably more on the east side of town, but there's going to be more overall here in this part of the Cindersap Forest that I have not already touched, so this is where I am heading instead. It is worth noting that the green rain does basically, and I talked about this, or at least left a note in one of the previous things, it does boost the growth rate of trees to pretty much where they're guaranteed to go up to their final stage unless they are either, you know, obviously not existent, if they're ones that naturally spawn in whatever area, like this one right here, for example. Or if they have not spawned at all, it will bring them at least into their first stage, pretty much guaranteed, so... If you do see the green rain coming and you know that you're going to need a lot of wood, then that might be an opportune moment to try and get as many of the fully grown trees taken care of as you can, because then that might mean that they will grow a lot faster than they would normally if you're not going to use like fertilizer or anything else. Ooh, there's a lot of debris up here. I knew it had been a little while since I cleared that section out, but I didn't realize it had gotten quite that bad. There we go. Ultimately, I think it will be worth passing out to have the resources, even if we don't really need them all that much anymore. For me, it'll still be worth it, I think. It is nice having the extra set of mixed flower seeds. My speed wore off here, but I don't think I'm going to renew it for 20 in-game minutes here. Alright, that will do it for day one. Yeah, I imagine that will probably be the lowest amount that we've had in totals for a while, but it's not exactly like the farm routine and the like was high up on my priority list there. Alright, with the green rain done, now at this point we'll head back into sort of our normal routine. I'll be working on stuff like the keg farm and the like, and we'll just kind of see how things go with the rest of the week. More kegs made today, and now begins a true endgame process. Taking all those extra crops we've made over the years and putting them in either the kegs or the preserves jars. Yeah, there's no real need to keep them now. Soon we'll have access to all of Pierre's stock year-round, and combine that with the seed maker, no need for any other recipes, and the island being able to grow anything at any time, and it's all the reason to get those machines going. Our starfruit is now up to a pretty good count to start making the wine again, so when the time calls for it, we'll be sure to do that. My coffee reserve is running extremely low, and given that I have a full stack of 999 coffee beans and then some, I set aside those for the quarry kegs to get my coffee up. That extra speed is a big help after all. There's a bit of tree cleanup in the desert, as well as some of the green rain trees, but nothing super serious. Just enough to probably make up for some of the kegs we built. I sell all of the non-iridium dino eggs as well. The full day is kind of its own routine now, but when 9 PM hits, I take some time to decorate the island hut again, this time doing the kitchen and the remaining room where I keep the bed. With the decorating done and the routine done, it's finally time to give that key quest a go. The luck is above average today, so I take some dishes for additional luck and speed with me, get the coffee taken care of and move to triple shot espressos, and build a few staircases. And of course, a few mega bombs never hurt. Hopefully that'll be enough to keep me go through the challenge. This challenge did not mess around. I went and I used most of my staircases immediately, saving a few in case I ran into monster-infested floors. It was pretty similar initially to how the Desert Festival floors felt when you were decently far in. Semi-tough, but manageable. Then floor 15 hit, and so too did those new serpents. They hit hard. Really hard. You gotta watch your health on those guys. Luckily, you can actually hit any of their segments, not just their heads, and I did figure that out a bit later than I would have liked. While they weren't impossible by any stretch, if they were there, I'd either stop what I was doing to kill them or go for the staircase if I knew where it was. Don't need to stick around and get hit over and over by those things. There is more radioactive ore in this version of the Skull Cavern, so that's a nice little bonus, but I don't need it anymore. Still, useful. The blackberries that I've got are getting pretty low in terms of how many I have. Luckily, the season for them is not too far away. As for the speed that I was going at during this challenge, I wasn't too concerned about not making it in time. That said, there's really not a lot of time to mess around, so only go for the monsters if there's a lot of them in a group, meaning a good chance to drop the staircase. No doubt this would be tough on a low luck day. The only treasure floor was an auto grabber on floor 83, but I don't really plan on making another barn or coop, and since it didn't sell for anything, I just gave it up. Ultimately, I think the only real prize being the key gems and completing the goal helped me a ton here. I didn't have that mental fight of deciding, do I go for this ore or not, because I knew I didn't need it. I kept going for a few more floors after I hit 100, namely just for a bit of extra things to sell, but ultimately I stopped at floor 109. We've now got 69 key gems, nice, and a good bit to sell. Also, a few curiosity lures that could come in handy at some point, maybe? We'll see. The ancient fruit wine is now done, so time to swap that out for the more profitable starfruit wine. For the time being, I'm going to focus on coffee in the quarry kegs, since it's quick and I'd like to have more of that triple shot espresso. Our next two purchases from Key are Key's seasoning and Pierre's stock list. The stock list, as already mentioned, is brought to Pierre so that you can get all types of seeds that he sells, regardless of the season. The Key seasoning, however, will be used for us to finish up a little trinket later on, but we have to use the food buffs in order to get ourselves to level 15 fishing to make it doable. As a result, we're quite literally going to need this. Another round of coffee in the kegs, told you they finish up quick, and then I decide to go fishing. I bring the two smokers, the coal, the geodes, and the geode crusher with me to get some time-passing things done. Besides, the geodes might give us more coal, which would be handy. Admittedly, it's a bit of a simple way to earn money, and it almost feels like the early days of the game. Still, the farming's pretty much entirely automated, as are the animals. Forging's really only helpful for wood and stone. Combat is largely unnecessary, as is mining, so fishing it is for that little bit of extra income. Coffee ahoy! I figure it might be best to just use all the beans we have for those triple shots, and after that, no need to worry about it for a good long while. It also uses up some time while I keep checking in on the island to see if Gus is there. I tell you, that guy needs to just take a day off. Also, question, can we give him, like, a holiday ticket during the 1.7 update? You know, like how there's movie tickets to take people to the movies? A bit more starfruit to replant today, and you can start to see exactly how repetitive the weeks end up in being. Later on, I might just end up using the entirety of my farming area and just have the grass starters in the animal pen. Or at the very least, just buy my hay, since it'll be a small price to pay compared to the money I'm making by using up the extra area. Astute viewers may have seen me putting slime that I have into the slime generator. Again, I know nothing about these things, but I figure now's as good a time as any to learn. Ultimately, we land on more fishing and geode breaking for the end of the day. That said, I have decided to start adding super cucumbers to the newest pond. Mostly because I like the purple color. Still, I probably will end up building a fourth pond for another Legend 2 later on. I moved the last of my stored coffee beans over to the quarry chest, and we're nearly done with them all, so that'll be a plus to anybody who's annoyed by it, I suppose. The egg supply is running extremely low due to me turning them all into mayo faster than they can produce, but the same isn't really true for the cheese yet. Still, as long as it's making money, at this point, we're all good there. If we need more eggs, we just wait a day or two, no biggie. I do another change in the music, this time to Stargazer, but it is admittedly a little too sleep-inducing for me, so I'll change it out soon. A lot of this week, obviously, has been trying to get the net gain of triple shot espresso and coal, but it has been working, and we're doing quite well on money as well. No one was at the island today, like, at all. It was kinda creepy, actually. Guess we know how Leo felt. Poor kid. The various jellies and pickled things were also done today, so time to put in more of the spring crops. I guess one other upside, it does mean that chest will finally start to have more space again. I take all the excess mayo in the coop, which has absolutely gone bad by now, and ship that too, before heading off to the trout derby. Now, granted, I don't really care about the trout derby, much less getting the golden tags for rewards. It's just a nice little bonus, and I was already fishing. Besides, I'm here to keep catching and smoking the fish for profit. We only end up with 3 of those trout tags, and all 3 of the rewards were pretty dang weak. Oh well. Once everything from yesterday is stored and the routine is done, I take all my geodes with me. I actually meant to leave the Omni geodes, and I'll say why in a little bit. I do change up the music again, and this time it's to aerobics class. There's a very 8-bit feel to it. After the island is taken care of, as well as the coffee and the pineapple wine at the quarry, those geodes? I'm taking them all to Clint. Yes, I know, he sucks. However, Clay can open the geodes way faster than that crusher can, and we do have a lot of them. The goal here is that we'll make a profit between selling back gems, and also that I'll get a good bit of coal from the geodes. I can now safely say, as a whole, minus what I had to put in the bin because he wouldn't buy it back, and the ores that I kept, we made 15,890 gold in profit. The real prize, of course, was the coal, but at least with these shots, you can see the total of what was in each geode, frozen geode, and magma geode set, respectively. So why not take the Omni geodes? You've easily got more of those than anything else. Simple. If that quest that Key has for making the 4 prismatic shards appear turns up again, there's a decent chance we could get at least 1 or 2, maybe more, simply by breaking those open. And we'd never need to go to the mines at all. And as time won't pass in single player while you're opening those geodes, it would be a very, very good way to save some time in-game. All that stone from the geodes also actually gave us enough to do Robin's Help Wanted request, which, while not worth much, is kind of funny. I did do some foraging around the area, but namely I was just looking for the prismatic butterfly, but no luck today. The last of the evening was back at the Trout Derby, but with only 1 tag today for some mystery boxes, that's okay, I guess. That's also the end of this week. Let's go back to the live commentary. Oh man, that was really close. I thought we were going to get to 12 million, but nope, we're about 6k shy, which we will easily hit just doing standard routine. Ah well. Alright, that is it for an episode. We tackled the extremely dangerous mines for the Skull Cavern, which, wow, some of those enemies, those hit pretty freaking hard, I'm not gonna lie. That was a bit worrying from time to time, but we managed to do it. We also built up our income. We tried a little bit of the Trout Derby, though admittedly not too much there. Definitely got our triple shot espresso count up, which is good, so I'll be able to move fast around the area. I've got my next fish pond project underway, as you've already seen, with having these super cucumbers, so that's been a nice little bonus as well. And it's cool to see the water be purple here. Oh, well, honey, that's easy enough to do. And then, of course, we've got our other 2 here. We've definitely been working on getting the crops that we've had over the time that we no longer need and putting those through the preserves jars. Obviously been working on the wine and the routine in general a little bit more as well, and those have been doing it quite well, I would say. Aside from that, we finished up the last of the decoration on our island farm. But tragically, despite it all, still no Gus. I'm wondering if he's just, like, conveniently trying to go on the days that it rains and then he just can't go. Because it seems like he is, maybe he's a bit cursed in that regard if he just can't seem to have much luck. But yes, here is the sort of jungle theme I went for. You'll notice I also put the jukebox in here, so now this is playing sort of a jungle tropical theme. But yeah, this is ultimately what I went with. It looks nice and cozy. This feels more open, which I very much approve of. I might even put like a wine thing in here just for the sake of doing that. I don't know, maybe put like some wine and some mead and stuff on a, like one of the larger tables if I could fit it in here. I don't know. I'll think about it. Maybe put one right here instead. I don't know. Something for me to think about at a later date. But as a quick little preview, let's see what the challenges are for this week. And then we will go ahead and end things off here. In the meantime, thank you all for watching, and in the next episode, let's see what challenge we will be facing that Key has presented us. We've done both of these, which means Extended Family Round 3, technically. Again, I'm going to intentionally fail this to keep catching the legend, and this time, hopefully, I'll remember that there are only 3 days, not 7 days. But yeah, since we've done Hungry Challenge and Extended Family already, I'm just going to go with, of course, that one, and it'll be nice and simple in that regard. So, that is it for an episode. Other than that, next time, pretty much the only thing, again, is just focusing on money making. I could buy the Return Scepter at this point, it's 2 million gold, but I would honestly rather just have the Golden Clock. Don't get me wrong, the Return Scepter is a very, very nice item. However, we could just also make the Warp Totems back to the farm and get basically the same results. And barring the whole, buying them, we've just found plenty. We still have plenty. So I'm not too terribly worried about things in that regard. I know this isn't going to save, but I'm going to have to remind myself that that's there. Regardless, let's get out of the weird 8-bit yoga stretching music and sit back in here. Again, thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next one for the last week of summer, year 3. Take it easy.